Play.
Welcome everyone. Let's start the press conference. Please, questions in English.
Jannik, thank you. Congratulations. This afternoon, did you play the match of your life? And what did it feel like playing that match?
Match of my life, I don't know, but it's for sure very, very important. As I say, it helps a lot. The last competition, that is a team competition, and because you get a lot of energy from your teammates, from the whole team, and then the crowd is different, and I really enjoy.
Ready. Play.
Hello guys, welcome. Jannik Sinner, Jan-Lennard Struff, round 3 of Indian Wells. Of course, this is the third match on center court today, or Stadium 1, or whatever it's called, because Indian Wells, for whatever reason, does not have a center court. It just has like Stadium 1, Stadium 2, Stadium 3, Stadium 4, and etc. But yeah, after Iga Świątek beat Linda Noskova and Carlos Alcaraz beat Felix Auger-Aliassime, both matches pretty dull, although the first set of Świątek-Noskova, of course, was actually quite important and like had a story to it, 100%. Alcaraz Auger-Aliassime was not a great one. And here we have Jannik Sinner against Jan-Lennard Struff. And to be quite honest with you, my expectations are not that high either. Well, Sinner, of course, still unbeaten for the year, unbeaten also for the past, how many is it now? 16 matches, including the Davis Cup performances. So it's going to be pretty hard for Struff to stop him, especially with how good a returner Jannik is these days. It kind of neutralizes the main advantage that Struff usually has over other players, especially also with the conditions. Although, as we know, that Jan-Lennard Struff actually can definitely succeed on any court in the world, really, on any surface. But I do feel like he's dropped off a little bit this year as well. Like, he's still a part of the tour, he's still getting some wins, but is he as good as he was in the spring of last year? That's kind of doubtful, in my opinion. So, and Vansh apparently is here, so let me let him in. Hello. My earphones then.
Yes. All set for this match.
I'll be back in a second then. Okay. Okay, I'm back now. I should be able to hear you now. I believe Sinner double faulted on the first point, but the next few were quite brutal. Is Jannik Sinner a bigger server than Jan-Lennard Struff these days? I don't know if bigger, but well, he might be winning his games more efficiently here, that's for sure. He might be actually setting himself up for easier points than Struff.
The serve itself, like isolating itself is bigger, but like, he's just holding more easy. He's just probably just more efficient behind it at this point.
Very possible, and that's not good news for the German.
Yeah. I feel like the screen just got ran across. I'm not sure about this.
I don't know if it's my internet or yours, but I did not hear a word from that.
Is that better?
Still shaky. Yeah, I have no idea what you said, but maybe it's mine. I don't know. Although backstage earlier with the producer, it was working fine. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. John says that he can't hear you too well either, and your camera would sometimes be like a little blurry. But yeah, we'll find out soon if that's something fixable or not. In the meantime, Jan-Lennard Struff, 30
Is
love
this better?
Now I think I should be able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
think I fixed it. I just had to
Yeah.
disconnect my mic and restart it.
It is good now, yes.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on this match? Do you think it can be more competitive than what some people think? Maybe, like, can he actually win?
Than
Set
Felix
even?
Carlos, yes, but like overall, it's very hard to go against Jannik now.
Yeah.
I think maybe before you got on, I was talking about him being such a good returner as well. Like even the serve return game, which usually you would think is probably one of Struff's best, assets just against anyone really. Against Sinner, it doesn't work right now. And yeah, I'm just not that convinced about Struff being like, let's say, a permanent top 20-ish figure for the time being. Like I think he has dropped off since last summer. He's still fine. He's still clutching out a lot of wins, obviously against Borna Coric. Lots of his experience recently on the tour has been tiebreaks, including that free tiebreak match against Hubert Hurkacz. So obviously he is one of these players who like keeps matches close. He is one of these players who can be top guys. I just don't know if Sinner isn't too strong for that at the moment.
Yeah. It was of course last spring where he was having all those really good results, right? Obviously like the Madrid final and then obviously the Stuttgart final.
Monte Carlo.
I think before that, Monte Carlo he got to the quarters and lost to Rublev, I believe. So
beat Rude along the way.
Right, yeah.
Then he, of course, was still injured in the second half of the year, so he kind of will have a lot of time to gain points as well. About 3 months where he was not
he didn't
active.
play Wimbledon or the US Open, so he missed that whole stretch.
Yeah, and the North American Masters, where I think he made the quarters in Cincinnati in 2020. So it's still, it's still very open for him to, even if he drops off a bit in the rankings around the spring, he will have his chances to earn it back as well. And now he's in fact low 30 down. There was a very brave forehand winner on low 30 up on the Sinner serve. There was a very brave forehand winner from him on the first point. But after that, I think Jannik threw something out. Hopefully this match.
So, this is a slight opening.
If this match doesn't deliver, it would be a very boring day so far.
Yeah. So far, not much. I mean, we just had Tsitsipas playing a good match against Tiafoe. Francis continuing to struggle, though. And then kind of same thing with Alcaraz Felix. Felix continuing to struggle. Alcaraz played a good match.
Yeah, and Marozsan, of course,
encouraging the last 4 sets for Alcaraz.
No show. Yeah, I mean,
but I'm really excited for the Marozsan match.
Absolutely, it's the I don't want to say it's a problem matchup because I, for example, saw that some people on Twitter were saying that Alcaraz knows he struggles against Felix, so he has to come out, sort of early out of the starting blocks. But I mean, this is a fictional problem. If Alcaraz or Aliassime, if they play on a fast indoor court, maybe we'll return to that whole conversation. But this was never a problem matchup for Alcaraz.
So it's 2-2 in completed matches. One of those was US Open, where it would have been surprising if Alcaraz actually had the energy to win that match. And then
quarterfinal.
The other two wins? Davis Cup the week after the US Open, and then Basel, where you would. Felix loved those conditions. So.
I mean, it's not a problem matchup for him. Marozsan, I would say the type of players that Marozsan represents is a bit of a problem for Alcaraz. And honestly, even Jannik Sinner sort of falls in a lot of the similar categories. So, yeah, probably it's not necessarily Fabian Marozsan that like actually is the problem matchup for Alcaraz, whereas the type of players that he belongs to. And yeah, it will be very exciting to see that match again for sure. Not making any big calls or anything, not because right now
Not
there
this
aren't
time.
any big calls. I mean, right? I mean, if Marozsan wins, no one is gonna be like, "Oh, upset of the decade," which they shouldn't have been in Rome. It's
Look
still
at this happening
ridiculous.
again.
It's still
But
ridiculous. Yeah. What was the match recently when I was like, was maybe like Djokovic Vukic or something like that, where I literally sort of thought, okay, so this would be like upset of the decade territory if that guy wins. And then you look at odds and it's like half the price that Marozsan was at. So that just kind of really shows you how stupid that one was. Not
I mean, I don't
not
know.
that the ones right now were misleading. Jan-Lennard Struff had a breakpoint even. He fired this massive backhand crosscourt winner for 30-40. Definitely like not shying away and just, when he has a shot at blasting the ball, he's going to go for it.
Some good serving from Jannik to get out of that hole. 125 on breakpoint down. Finds the spot. And yeah, another big unreturned serve. Hold for 2-1. Actually, Sinner was in some tough moments against Kokonakis early on in the first, in the second round a couple of days ago. I think he had to fight off one break chance, but then after that it was just a runaway. Like I think he won 9 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, he won like 6-3, 6 love, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. It was very similar to like Swiatek Collins. Actually, both matches, funny enough, both matches were 81 minutes and it was the same score, 6-3, 6-0, and they both faced one break point in the first 5-6 games, and then once they got out of that jeopardy, then it was smooth sailing.
Yeah, basically the only interesting match today so far has been Anna Kalinskaya and Jasmine Paolini. They are 4-0.
Yeah, I have that one on my screen right now because actually it would be quite funny if Kanskaya won in Indian Wells and Paulini won in Dubai.
Yeah,
Be
I
the
was
exact
thinking about
opposite
that
of what you
earlier
originally.
too. Yeah, surprised it's that close, honestly, because I just wasn't expecting Kalinskaya to hit through Paolini on these courts. Dubai, of course, like this is one of these matches where I actually can say that Kalinskaya kind of won it. Like it wasn't like
And won it, yeah. It's because 5-3.
we just can't use it as an example of she couldn't beat Paolini on the Dubai courts, so she definitely won't beat her at Indian Wells because she beat her in Dubai. Like she literally beat her. She didn't complete the job, but when it comes to sheer sort of advantage, yes, she had that. She built that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it's so close in Indian Wells still.
Yeah. It would be kind of funny though if you're like actually it's breakpoint for 5-3 here. So if like the exact reversal happened, that'd be some weird coincidence.
Breakpoint for 5-3
for Paulini. Or Paulini to serve for it at 5-3 in the third, but now that's been erased.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. Oh okay, so you're behind by quite a lot. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm using Tennis Channel TC Plus, so that's always like a few points behind.
Yeah, that's why I was confused because it's literally like middle of next game, and I just had no idea.
It's really bad, dude. It's like I understand if it's 2 or 3 points, but it's sometimes a whole game behind, unfortunately.
Yeah, like 1, 2,
Sometimes even
3
10,
points,
15 minutes.
it's perfectly fine. I agree, but as long as it's like as long as you're in the same game, it's probably okay. But like 5 minutes is just. I don't know. I don't think it's 5 minutes in this case.
That's why I would
it's
never
like
use
3
that
minutes.
if I do a talking tennis stream.
Yeah.
I'd never use that for talking tennis.
Definitely.
This would not work.
Quite impossible. 30 all now on the Struff serve, so he also has to be pretty cautious. There was this point earlier where he approached the net, couldn't stretch enough to the forehand volley. Great return from Jannik, so I guess, as long as he's already kind of in the point, he's going to be the favorite to win it. But
I
Struff
will
is
just
so
say
far hitting well.
I am not surprised by this, but I'm impressed how little that Australian Open has, or how little of an Australian Open hangover Sinner has had. Like how he's just totally just moved on so quickly, but after that, and
Yeah.
just gotten back to business.
It plays a great point here to set up breakpoint. Actually, Struff was holding up okay in the rally. Like after the return of Sinner, I was thinking that maybe it's going to be like a free shot combination for Jannik, but he made him work for it. Had to hit like this great backhand cross and then just finish off as well. Another very good return, and it's going to be a break. Jan-Lennard Struff trying to serve and volley, and he doesn't catch it. But again, it's like the reaction from Sinner, really, because of course Struff has this great service motion, and it's going to be a bomb. I don't think it was placed maybe like 100% as good as you can, but definitely good enough. But Jannik just reacts to it very well, to the serve down the tee. Very good return as well, sort of with Struff serving volleying. I don't know if Jannik actually knew that this was going to be the case, but I guess against Struff you can expect it quite often. So there's that break, and so far, despite some, let's say the previous game, there was a bit of issues for Jannik, but like otherwise it's kind of playing out as expected. Like the quality that he presents on returns so far is pretty absurd.
Yeah, for sure. He has such great range on his returns, and just like knows exactly where to hit it. And it's almost like I don't think he knew exactly that Struff was gonna serve and volley and come in behind it, but like he just hits it in the perfect spot and just makes it a really awkward volley for Struff.
Yeah, he just kind of hits it, every single time. Deep, not too close to the lines, but pretty deep. Down the middle, usually. It's going to be hard when you're serving volleying. It's going to be hard when you're not serving volleying, when you're staying back as well. And right now, he just crashes a forehand. I mean, it's just... I would
remember
check
in
the
the
ball
World
after
Tour
the shot.
Finals round robin match, this is what really impressed me about Sinner. Like he would go back on the second serve return. Sometimes he'd move in. Sometimes it's like Djokovic would not have success even trying to serve and volley against it. Like
Round
he would
robin,
against
okay.
a lot of other
Mhm.
players. I mean, against Medvedev, you can basically have a field day with that shot at this point, and even sometimes against Alcaraz.
Yeah,
does
I
not
think
work
that
against him.
the Australian Open win was also like the returning was a big part of that performance, right?
Yeah.
Against Djokovic, I mean, that just referring to what you said, yeah, and there especially it was just that ability to, I guess, put everything back in a way that would not allow Novak to attack, and yeah, it is brutal. It's kind of like good enough to a point where you're asking the question right now, like who is going to beat this guy, and
Yeah.
how is he going to lose? And honestly, I wouldn't be too confident if we get that semi Alcaraz scenario that Carlos has a good shot.
But if he's gonna beat Jannik right now, I would.
I know it's one of the best courts, but just seeing the last two games, for example, like this is kind of fire that even Alcaraz might not be able to extinguish. And he's had his issues, obviously, in the Sinner matchup. He's had his issues against players capable of rushing him. Yannick is just, cranking up every shot. Seemingly, it can't be sustainable, but it is. It's rough, but we'll see.
Sinner, he's just playing so within himself. It doesn't look like he's taking any unnecessary risk. When in reality, like most players, if they hit like the way he's hitting, just would not be able to control it. But he's just like, it just all looks so contained. It just looks so solid. It's just a guy who's just playing with a lot of confidence. I think he's like 45-5 since the start of Wimbledon, something crazy like that. So
it's possible. Definitely 16 in a row.
Yeah.
So that's also insane. Yeah. I'm just looking at the graph that you tweeted. The Marozsan drop shot placement.
Yeah. 15 out of 18. I mean, that's quite good.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much it actually matters, but I think really players like Alcaraz or Shelton as well, like they really had zero scouting on Marozsan going into the matches. Like they were both so surprised with the drop shots, you know? It was
Mm.
weird. Obviously, Marozsan isn't going to do it every single time, and especially on quicker hard courts, he's been definitely stepping away from it. But in Indian Wells, it's made an appearance. He set up a match point today against Seibovild with a great drop shot. Yeah, I think today he probably played it like 5 times, I would say. Is it going to be more of a factor against Carlos? I don't actually know. Like we might still see him a lot at the net and just, wrapping up points with big forehands. But I would assume that at least a few times we're going to see it. Probably not as much as in Rome.
Yeah.
But
I'd say in Rome,
just kind
maybe
of
he
weird
was
for me.
quite as explosive, quick to read it as well, just given that he had played so much tennis.
Oh yeah, I
Having
mean,
a
absolutely.
ability to
That was a
self-achieve as
factor
well.
for sure. Yeah, that just made him more vulnerable to that sort of style.
Yeah, of course he beat. I think he won one match. He beat Ramos Vinales in the first one.
Yeah,
But then,
it
that's
was the
probably
third
where,
round.
like,
Yeah.
Rome and Monte Carlo are going to be places where you can kind of get Alcaraz early. I would think if he goes so deep in sunshine doubles and if he, racks up those
Yeah.
Barcelona Madrid runs, yeah, those are probably vulnerable spots for Carlos.
Last couple of seasons, he wins both Madrid and Barcelona, so absolutely, it is a possibility. And then that's why we were looking, or at least I was looking, I guess, at that Marozsan matchup as a potential upset. Probably wasn't going to be the case in like Madrid if they played even with the Marozsan playstyle, But I guess in Rome we were just on the lookout for someone who can potentially beat Carlos. Obviously, Emil Rusuvuori almost beat him in Madrid as well, so it's not like he was never, capable of losing there. And Alex de Minaur almost beat him in Barcelona, right? So it's not like it's impossible. De Minaur definitely presenting a bit of a different play style though than Rusuvuori or Marozsan. If he made that return, I mean, Struff would have, I don't know, quit. But thankfully for him, it's just a little long.
And these are courts that should suit Struff.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. It's a tongue twister, yeah.
Because they are slow and high bouncing. I think they would suit his game style actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know actually if he's done anything really in Indian Wells over the years.
No, but
Check that.
it kind of makes sense. Just,
I mean, I don't think he's done much at most Masters events, right? I mean, Cincinnati a few years ago, and we mentioned that last year it was Monte Carlo and Madrid, but otherwise, I don't think he really has any other big results, right? At the AVP thousands. Indian Wells, his record was 6 and 7, and yeah, basically, as I said, Cincinnati 2020 quarters, and then the two that we mentioned. So, it doesn't stand. He hasn't done anything in Indian Wells over the years, but it also doesn't stand out compared to his other records. What does stand out though is his win percentage at the Australian Open, which is just insane.
for Struff,
Yeah.
like he's not done very well.
2 and 10, and one win is this year. So he was 1 and 9.
10. Oh yeah, because he won one match before he played Federer. He won in 2018. I think he won a match.
Oh yeah, but against whom? I mean, who
So
the hell knows?
that's only one match that he's won. I mean, oh whoa.
Yeah, and now this year, I guess he beat like Hijikata or something like that, or who was it?
Something like that.
I wanted to say Bedene, but Bedene was who Federer played, right, at the Australian Open. So, but it was that section, and apparently he beat Sun Wukong in 2018. Yeah. So,
by the way, Kalinskaya has just saved a match point against Paulini, so the parallel is on.
Oh, yeah.
But she's not out of this game yet. Maybe she is. I'm just really behind, so we'll see.
That will be a nice turnaround, yeah, if they just win on the courts that theoretically they shouldn't, and at the same time also, well, saving match points, I guess, here, because Kalinskaya didn't have match points in Dubai,
no,
right?
Not match point, but still, like,
yeah,
serve for it.
Big comeback, yeah. Potapova playing Podoroska as well at the same time, but that match has not been looking too interesting. Potapova obviously could use a run. She was very good at the Sunshine Double last year, just couldn't get over the line against Jessica Pegula, really.
I think the best match of the tournament so far is definitely Stern Sabalenka. I don't think I've seen a better match on both men's and women's side thus far.
I'm trying to look for something because I think Stern Sabalenka was like a little, well, on the quality it was a little short, I would say.
Like the second set, of course, and then but I will say like the last 5-6 games were really compelling, and definitely had you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, in terms of entertainment, drama, quality, sure. I mean, drama, entertainment. That's what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. Quality, kind of up and down.
At times, like the match point saves. I thought the first match point save, the 105 mile per hour second serve that Stearns came up with, I thought that would have been enough. But Sabalenka was just insanely clutch on that point.
And Jannik Struff goes Jannik Struff. Jannik Sinner goes 5-2 up. For some reason, Jan-Lennard and Jannik, I mean, they kind of start the same, and they keep mixing them up since we started the broadcast. But yeah, basically he goes 5-2 up whenever it's on his serve, and like there's a rally where he's dictating. Obviously, he's not going to lose most of them. For some reason, that offense of his being actually pretty safe, despite being so aggressive. Yeah, I'm looking at that best match.
If you just slice the center now, he's actually quite comfortable just slicing it back cross court.
He was slicing a second ago, yeah.
Match point, by the way, for Paulini, and Kalinskaya nets it. So Paulini does get the win on this.
Paulini again.
So
clearly the better player. She won.
She also had the Australian Open round 4 match, which was won by Kalinskaya, but.
Oh right, this was this year as well. Oh, I forgot about that. So yeah, it's like the best rivalry of the season. It's the best rivalry of the season so far.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've had a lot of repeat matchups this year that have played at least 3 times. I mean,
Ostapenko, Azarenka.
Yeah. That's probably the first one that would come to my mind. But
yeah. It's hard to find something else on the spot. I'm pretty sure I was writing about some match. Yeah, I was writing about some match recently that had this situation, but I don't remember right now. Anyway. Got Świątek Collins, Świątek Noszkowa not quite there. Another sick return from Jannik Sinner, Struff serve and volleying, but maybe this time the placement of the serve can also be criticized, but still, it's a great reaction. It's basically ungettable, kind of sense. Struff flying, I mean, he easily could have fell on the floor here. It's been a pretty rough time for Struff so far, but obviously if he can just maybe start holding more consistently in the second set, he's always going to have like an open door to get to a tiebreak or something, but it's not going to be easy to do that against Jannik Sinner. Yeah, I guess there are no real like other candidates for that best match of the event thing.
I can't come up with one really.
I mean, Buralgov, if you may, but
is anybody watching Struff versus Chorich? Because Struff had the match point save. But...
I know, but like no one watched it literally.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I didn't watch it,
but I know that he saved match points. And
I wasn't able to read anything about that match. I didn't really like actively look either. But like usually when there's a match like this, you're gonna find like at least one tweet or something. But it seems that no one watched it simply. And I can't blame people. Like
a Tennis TV 3-minute video on the match point saves, which they've been doing a good job of. So, but I guess it was just on one of those outside courts where there was just so much happening at the same time, and probably wasn't worth the attention.
Well, I mean, I get why no one watched it. It did seem like a pretty irrelevant whatever round that was, second, first. But yeah, I mean, the story there definitely could have been compelling, and of course, Struff had a few of these already this year. I think, in fact, his first 4 matches of the season ended at final set tiebreaks as well, or something like that, something crazy. That against Cilic in Hong Kong, then I think he lost to Offner maybe, and then in Australia he lost to, I think he beat
Australia, I
someone,
think he
and
lost
then
to Kecmanovic. It was like a fifth set
it
tiebreak.
was also 5th set tiebreak, right? So yeah, so it was first 4 matches of the season ended in third set tiebreaks for Struff. 2 in Hong Kong, 2 at the Australian Open. Oh, and what a volley here from Sinner. He finds the sick angle through the net. So still not done. Actually gets to deuce here. Yeah, I mean, watching this guy so far, I kind of don't understand how someone is supposed to beat him, you know?
He honestly looks borderline unplayable.
Yeah.
I thought Kokonakis played a great match. He won 3 games. Like, it was just... I don't
Sounds
think Kokonakis could have beat it.
controversial. I didn't watch it, so I can't have an opinion, but it sounds
Okay,
controversial.
I think the second set, I don't mean the whole match, but the first set he played really, really, really well. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say like it's the best tennis he's ever played, of course not, but he played very well in the first set, and he won 3 games.
You're tripping, John. Blinkova Rybakina is not an Indian Wells match. Anyway, yeah, I mean, he probably just misheard or something and thought that we are talking about match of the season, not the event. But yeah, when it comes to Kokinakis, I guess I'm not too surprised. As I said, I didn't see the match, but he did play very well against Giron. I think Indian Wells should be a good profile for him as well. So
Actually, I
I'm not
would say this:
surprised
in the
maybe
first
that you're
7
saying
games, he was a better player. In the first 7 games, he was a better player, and then after that, it was just gone immediately. It was like Collins and Iga.
Or Noskova and Iga.
Yeah.
Although I guess, as you're saying that he didn't play poorly, he probably didn't fall apart as much as Noskova did then.
No. Yeah, Noskova. I mean, if she breaks for 5-2, then yeah, we have a different match. Probably same result, but yeah, different match.
Yeah, I'm looking at that Sinner guy right now and just sort of keep thinking about the semifinal already. If we get Sinner Alcaraz, and legit, he would be a pretty big favorite, I think.
Shelton is one of the few players that beat him, and he basically served him off the court in Shanghai. But that's majorly what he did. Like, he just outserved him.
And Beijing as well is a factor, right?
Beijing.
In that Sinner was coming off Beijing and somewhat tired as well. So it's a bit of a Marojan Alcaraz scenario.
I didn't think he looked great against Baez in that tournament, and then he was just a little bit off. Yeah. So.
Yeah, precisely. So I don't know how much. I mean, yeah, Shelton is definitely one of these guys who can beat anyone on a good day, sure. Or at least that's what we would like to think. That's what he can become in the future, let's say. Because, I don't know, let's say US Open against Novak, it was clear he's not ready yet.
I think his serve can get so much better. I know that sounds kind of...
It can.
But it really can. Like, if you look at the chart that the ATP, Tennis Viz put out of the top 20, ATP top 20, they looked at the accuracy and the speed.
I don't know
all
if
the
I've
top
seen that.
players, and I think what we thought about Shelton is basically true. Like, he serves really fast on average, but his spots are not that good.
Yeah. So what's the account? How can I find this? Because I don't know if I've seen that.
I think it's Tennis Insights at Tennis Insights on Twitter. So yeah, it's just basically a graph.
I will check that out now. As Sinner serves out the opening set and is proper serve botting as well.
Yeah.
And was that a few days ago or?
A few days ago.
Okay.
I think over a week ago now, actually. It's been a while. Let me see if I can find it.
I hope I'll be
I thought it was
able
really
to.
interesting. And what I liked about it is that they took away body surfs, so this feels really accurate.
There was something for the semi-finalists of Dubai and Acapulco, but that was just them. Really? Oh, I got it. I got it now.
Yeah.
Accuracy and speed. So, okay. So the least precise would be the minor, and then Shelton. Yeah, that's pretty wild, actually.
Yeah.
That Shelton would be the second least precise server in the top 20. Yeah, and of
It also
course,
shows the tour average, so you can compare it with that.
I see. Yeah. So pretty significantly below that. Runa being below tour average, Nori, Manarino, Paul, Alcaraz, Ruud. Yeah, all of these guys, but Shelton sort of makes sense. And as you said, I mean, we were expecting that with Shelton.
I don't remember
guess
where was
Zverev-
Alcaraz. Was he like average? Was he like average speed
He's
and maybe like not
worse
so
than
great?
average. Average speed, worse placement, which also
Okay,
makes
that makes
sense.
sense.
Like
Yeah,
that
checks out.
absolutely makes sense. Zverev being this low on placement, I guess, is a little weird. Although he actually goes for like a
Well,
very high
kind of makes sense.
percentage.
I mean, you
So,
make 70% of your
yeah.
first serves, you're probably not hitting your spots.
Yeah, but like usually you don't really see it, just visually. But yeah, if you think about percentages, sure, and how he's actually very high on the speed, sort of even I think even higher than Hurkacz, or at least the same.
You know
And
what
then
surprised me is Dimitrov. I didn't think Dimitrov would be like that good. I mean, I like visually, I know he's improved his serve like a little bit compared to some of his shoulder issues that he was having a year or two ago. But like, man, he's like number 3 or 4 in both.
I definitely don't treat him as the same caliber server as Zverev, Jari, maybe even Tsitsipas.
Hurkacz.
Like I don't
Hurkacz is
think I
like
put
by
him.
far.
Hurkacz is obviously the best server in the world right now.
Yeah.
Like I was sort of just putting him in a completely different category. But yeah, Dimitrov, I just definitely don't put him as like close to Steph or something. And clearly we should, I suppose. Also, what's surprising? Well, no, I guess not surprising, but also nice to get confirmation of how precise Djokovic is. I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not surprising. No.
yeah, it's not surprising at all, but it's nice. And Medvedev also actually being pretty close to the lines. I guess that's cool for him. But yeah, it's a good graph. But yeah, it does show a certain issue for Shelton for sure. If he's less precise than Ruud or Alcaraz, and well, basically a lot below tour average.
Another thing is Diminor. Do you feel like he's bulked up this year? I think he looks stronger. Definitely seems to be, hitting the ball harder. Maybe just serving. Maybe that serve accuracy thing. Maybe if we do that again, maybe he's like not last. We'll see.
Yeah, this is 52 weeks, but his lead actually, I mean, his lead in a negative way, is actually pretty huge compared to the other guys. Like he is way behind Shelton, and then Shelton is way behind Alcaraz, Ruud, Paul. Yeah. When it comes to speed itself, the minor is better than Alcaraz, Paul, Nori, and Manarino. But interesting thing, I guess, as well, is that when it comes to like the tour average and comparing that, when it comes to accuracy, you're gonna have 9 players who are below tour average in the top 20. But when it comes to serve power, you're only gonna have 3. So or maybe 4. I mean, Alcaraz, it's kind of hard to say if he's below. I think he's ahead based on this graph. So Paul, Nori, and Manarino. So basically, speed tends to be, well, I think for top 20 players, accuracy not necessarily. Maybe it's just right
is
now.
Actually important. Like, yeah, like you do need pretty good average mile per hour.
So Nori is here, like on this graph, right? And Nori right now is very far from a top 20 player, probably. Not very far is too much, but like he's not really top 20 right now. Sebastian Baez would really mess up these stats, and right now, of course, he is in the top 20. So I would love to see him on this graph. Accuracy, the worst. Speed, the worst.
Yeah, that makes sense. The Baez this week, is he still alive? Yeah, he's still alive in this.
Yeah, he's playing Fritz again. Third round, I think the same last year.
That's not a good matchup.
Yeah.
I think I have Fritz even getting. I think I might even have had Fritz getting to the semis, but that's only because I thought he would beat. I thought he would beat Runa.
What's the section? Aha, yeah, that I mean,
And then,
everyone can make the semis there
I mean,
in that
like
section, honestly.
I feel like we've had this over and over again, where like Runa, Dimitrov, and Medvedev are all in the same section. Maybe that's what
So
happened in
Rune
Australia
Fritz
and
wasn't that a match in Indian Wells last year or something, maybe 2 years
Miami.
ago.
Miami, yeah,
Miami,
Miami
okay.
last year.
Miami, yeah.
Yeah, he beat Runa, but then lost to Alcaraz.
But yeah, this is the quarter where no one knows what to do, I think.
But I
So
kind of think if Medvedev can get by Dimitrov, then he's probably if he plays Fritz, I might like his chances. Yeah, I think I would take Medvedev over Fritz.
I would like Rune's chances over Medvedev, though, if Rune gets
If
there,
he gets
like
there,
good
yeah.
physical shape. And Dimitrov does, Dimitrov should have a really good shot at upsetting Daniil here.
Runa, man, I think he could like beat anybody in the top 10 and lose to anybody in the top 10 right now. It just depends on his, that
I like the
physical
matchup
range.
against Daniil, but yeah, I mean, of course, this is all like under this caveat that he gets there in good physical shape. Like that's kind of what I'm, giving this asterisk every single time, because it is a thing with Rune, of course. It's most of the
He got
time
one
he might
withdrawal, so
not.
that should help him a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Struff double faults here, not necessarily how he wants to start the game, but let's see. But yeah, that section, that half is pretty wild. Obviously, I didn't do any like full bracket predictions. I don't remember what I said on the draw preview, but I think I was maybe picking like Rune or something like that. I was definitely not picking Medvedev because I just thought that Korda, Dimitrov, then Fritz or
I think
Rune,
neither of
that
us
kind of
picked
sounds like
Medvedev.
too much.
Because
Yeah,
we're like,
that-
he got to the final last year, but that's just because he's one of the best hardcourt players in the world. That's not because you like the surface.
Yeah, and he was really confident last year. He was in really good rhythm. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. So, if you throw him against Korda, then Manarino or Dimitrov, and then Fritz or Rune, I like someone's chances. I don't know which one, but I like someone's chances to upset him. And it's still not as wild, of course, whatever we could have said as Shrihari's bracket, but
What did he have?
I don't know if you're familiar with the Shrihari's bracket, but basically he had Hurkacz to win the title over Tiafoe
What?
in the final. Yeah, that was my reaction as well.
Hurkacz winning the title?
Or Tiafoe winning the title, but I think it was Hurkacz winning the title. It was definitely Hurkacz-Tiafoe in the final.
That's wild. I like the boldness, but that
I
reminds
just
me of
realized
like
that they're both out now,
people
right?
just like to go all out bold. I remember there was like one Madrid, I think last year, was like Sedant in the popcorn tennis chat was like, Hugo Humbert, he's winning Madrid. I'm calling it now. I think
He
he
lost
had
to
like
Rusevori, I guess, as at every Clay Masters last year. Well, not at Monte Carlo, but anyway, at Madrid and Rome. I mean, yeah, I kind of just told Srihari that like at this point you're not really doing the bracket, in my opinion. Like you're just kind of picking whatever you want, really, and like you're not actually trying to predict if you're going for a Tiafoe in the final. I mean, I actually told him that Hurkacz is reasonable. Like Hurkacz is definitely, well, of course
is more possible. Yeah.
he lost to Monfils in the second round, but like Hurkacz was among, let's say, the top 10 favorites for sure, and Hurkacz winning this title would not be anything weird. Eventually, of course, he loses to Monfils, gets bageled, has some abdominal or whatever they were issues, but like it wouldn't be insane. He made some good runs in Indian Wells before. I kind of don't understand why. Like I think Miami should have. Well, Miami he won, of course, but like I don't really understand why Indian Wells was so strong for him early in his career. Maybe now we're sort of coming back to normal in terms of that. But Hurkacz was reasonable.
I think he made the quarters, right, in 2019.
Yeah, and 21 as well. 21 he loses to Dimitrov. That could have been a big shot in October. Because of course then you get
I feel like his serve is good enough that it doesn't matter what the surface is. Like, can he make Roland Garros quarterfinal? Probably, just based on the serve alone.
Yeah, but like Roland Garros, it could be like last year, or 2 years ago, right? When he goes to like the fourth round or something and just runs into the first decent player, the first player who actually sort of has some clay pedigree and loses. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you that for him, a lot of the time conditions just don't really matter. When it's slower, the serve still hurts, and the other guys get their weapons
I'm still
neutralized.
shocked that he got bageled.
Yeah.
I guess it has been over 2.5 years or two plus years, Djokovic Paris. So
it was pretty shocking that he never got an easy game there in that set for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty tragic to watch for sure, because he's just so passive off the ground, obviously, and I mean Monfils is kind of the same a lot of the time. And yeah, he was just getting outplayed in all of these rallies, and actually the serve was not giving him anything, so it was just rally after rally, and he would lose every single one of them.
he couldn't find his forehand at all.
Yeah, I mean,
For the most
it
part.
makes sense that it would be pretty poor on these cards, but yeah, given his history here, I mean, I still wasn't expecting him to look that bad, I guess, against Monfils. But who knows? Maybe the issues that we saw more so later in the third set, maybe they were also bothering him at the very beginning of the match. They just weren't apparent. I don't know.
Possible.
But yeah, Hurkacz, I definitely told Shrihari that like I get that, like it is one of these like not obvious but possible picks, whereas Tiafoe was like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly just obviously not the fact that Francis can't do it. He was in the semifinals last year.
Now, I think he's out of the
He
top
was in the
20.
semifinals last year, but the last few matches, especially like whenever he runs into the first decent opponent, right? Like that's today against Steph and recently against Giron and whoever that was. That Tommy Paul? No, who did he lose to in the
Some of those
second?
scorelines were quite rough. Against Giron, Paul, and now Steph.
Oh, Paul, yeah, that's what I thought.
And he's like 9-12 or something since the US Open. So yeah, not been good. And now he's out of the top 20.
Sean says that Tommy Paul against Humbert is an intriguing one. Yes, absolutely.
That's why I was quite surprised when he beat Nori here last year, because I was like, these courts should not suit him. And
who?
Tiafoe, but he was just a lot more confident.
Yeah, I thought we jumped to, never mind. But yeah, basically I was just referring to the comment from Sean, who says that Tommy Paul against Humbert is an intriguing one. I was a little surprised to see Humbert being the favorite there, although I guess it's been evening out.
I'm taking Paul in that match. He has a very good record against lefties. And also I watched him play in Cincy, and he's just able to absorb that +1 a lot better than a lot of players because he's so fast.
I'm mostly basing this on the conditions, but yeah, I also think that Paul is a slight favorite. Bear was fine against Gibson, but there is a bit of a gap. There's definitely a different play style as well. Like it's not going to be just enough to, let's say, handle the first few shots. Tommy did very well last year, and yeah, I think this is a very good shot for him.
I had one really bold pick that Mickelson was going to get out of that section.
Yeah, that was reasonable, I think. Obviously, 6-2, 6-2 eventually, so it doesn't look great in hindsight, but I did think that was a possibility. Like, they weren't maybe even for me, Paul, Humbert, and Mickelson, but they all seemed like they have a live chance to make it out.
Or I think I said, the winner of Paul Mickelson, because I knew that would be tight, or I thought it would be tight. This is based on their Dallas match, and I thought the winner of that would get to the fourth round and lose to Djokovic.
Not too fortunate saying right now that you knew that it was going to be tough.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be, but then yesterday was the exact opposite.
I guess I didn't have any bold opinions, but that's me. Never go bold. I mean, I had some bold opinions.
You said Church would get to the Australian Open quarters.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite bold at the time.
Well, I later changed it to Cilic or Marozsan, which was a better prediction, but still didn't work out. But yeah, Cilic, I did think after Hong Kong he was gonna be much stronger than he is actually, and well, obviously that hasn't really worked out at all. So it's probably over for him now. Is it over for Jan-Lennard Struff? As at 30 all and 2 all, he commits a backhand unforced error on the +1 shot. Again, it's kind of the pressure from Sinner's return, though. Like, he didn't have much time to prepare for it. And let's see. I mean, this could be one of the most crucial points of the match. Only the second breakpoint for Sinner. He converted his in the opening set. Struff didn't. So if you think about it, like, it could be perceived as a very close match, but it kind of hasn't felt like it. However, Struff saves it. Huge serve. This time even Sinner won't be able to respond.
Yeah, I only made 2 bold predictions this year, and they weren't even that bold. I just said Mickelson would get to the 4th round, and that Kecmanovic would get to the 4th round of AO.
Well, you also made one bold prediction. You also
odds.
made this one bold prediction.
Oh,
that,
yes. And also the bold prediction that I made, yes. Of the top 4 seeds getting to the semis. I said on both sides they would get there.
On both sides,
that's pretty bold. I still think that's quite bold, but John will disagree.
John will disagree, yes. Is Struff already out of this game? Not really. What I like about the Indian Wells scheduling today, though, despite most of the matches being like, just mediocre, I like the fact that I don't have to stay up late because the matches at night are not interesting enough for me to keep me awake. Unlike yesterday when I tried watching Mickelson, Paul, and Klein Ruth at 3 a.m.
I like their scheduling in general, though. I mean, they start their night session 6 p.m., which is not too late. And I like how they do like the 8 quarterfinals. They're doing all 8 quarterfinals in one day on Thursday. And the women get 2 days off, or they get a day off after the semi. The men also get a day off after their semi. So I think a lot of the 2-week events should actually copy this schedule.
So what's going to be happening on Saturday then?
Saturday is just men's semis. Oh, actually, yeah, but the men don't get a day off, but they get a day off after the quarter. So
that's why I was confused, because in that way you
women's quarters on Thursday, women's semis on Friday, men's semis on Saturday, and then both finals on Sunday. So
I haven't even checked that because it's impossible to keep up with all these BS when you have 5 different 96.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is they're all different. Like I wish it wasn't that confusing where I just knew in advance, what ground is going to be on what day.
The tournament schedules are on the websites, but unless I have to check it for some reason, I'm not going to be bothered.
Yeah, of course, Miami I think is similar, but they don't have both finals on the same day.
There are some minor differences basically between all of them, and it's impossible to remember, at least for now, unless we're used to. But honestly, even back in the day, I remember when just Indian was in Miami, where 96 player draws, I would always get confused because they would also often be different. So it's not really a thing that came to us with Madrid, Rome, and Shanghai. One more breakpoint for Jannik Sinner now, another backhand error off the ground from Struff. So basically, it's a bit of a game of can I find the serve good enough for Sinner not to return it, because otherwise I might be done. And he is done indeed, or at least, he is a set and a breakdown. Wasn't even an amazing return or anything. The first volley was pretty okay from Struff, but then Sinner forces him to stretch to the forehand volley, which Struff can't actually fully get his racket on anymore. 19 minutes in the second set and a break up Jannik Sinner, and kind of routinely cruising towards the win. That's what it seems, but we'll see.
Yeah. Kind of cruising here, or at least should cruise.
Yeah. Now after the daylight savings time went in, I think in the States, I have a slightly better schedule for myself at Indian Wells because it starts an hour earlier.
Oh yeah.
So I'm also glad about that. However, yeah. I mean, today I'm just not that invested in the night matches. Like I would like to watch them, especially Shelton Cerundolo, but
Yeah, that's probably the one for me that I'm gonna watch the closest. The rest I'm not that intrigued by personally.
yeah.
I mean, Volyanets, Wozniacki, yeah, could be some good stuff there, but I think Shelton it doesn't scream at me. Like Shelton Cerundolo is maybe the most appealing, just because you know that Fran can just turn it up, and you know that eventually he's gonna find his form at some point, like he should. I think he's too good to just keep playing the way he's been playing all
Yeah.
year.
It's kind of what I
I think he
said
made the
on a,
semis in
on a
Rio,
watch
but he
along.
wasn't looking good. Like he looked kind of lost even though
No,
he
no,
made the
no,
semis.
no. Rio wasn't great, yeah. But I think some stream this week. I can't remember which one, but there was a question actually about Fran, and I said something very similar that like I just expect him to at some point this year, start firing. I don't know when,
Yeah,
I don't know for how
Miami, like
long, but
maybe one of the Clay 250s. Maybe Miami again. He'll just go on a run. Like he's just kind
yeah,
of like
if
that.
he,
He'll just
if he
pick a
has
random
another
week.
massive run in Miami, that would be insane. But yeah, it,
He
it
can
is
play
a
on
thing.
grass too. So like he won Eastbourne last year. Like maybe he's goes on a run
Conditions
in
doesn't
Queen. Or
conditions
something.
don't matter. Conditions absolutely don't matter.
Yeah. I mean, he just has to be more motivated. Like he just looked like he didn't want to be on the court for most of the Golden Swing. I think we've lost Damien. Yeah. So it looks like we've lost Damien for now. I think he should be coming back.
That
Okay,
was just
Damien is back.
Yeah, that was just me. I clicked the backwards arrow. Why did I do it? I think I was thinking that I'm on another tab, and I actually was on this one. Never
That's how
mind.
you feel about Toronto's season so far. Just want to go back.
Yeah, I want to go back to Miami. I want to go back to Eastbourne. I want to get it back to where was he good last year as well? Around Garros. So I guess that's the best one,
Yeah.
probably. Like in terms of sustaining that level over a longer patch. I always say that he was the quarterfinalist in Paris, so I must have very
Like how
fond
you just count
memories.
all the close losses as like wins.
No,
If you
no,
could do that every time.
that's not actually because of that, but I
You know, I
simply
know what you mean.
remember that as a quarterfinal, yeah, for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
sometimes
could be
I
like,
tend to do that.
Federer
Yeah.
basically won 2019 Wimbledon. Yeah, that counts.
This is a quote that I've said in the past, like, and actually, as you guys probably know, that the listeners as well by now, that I am a Federer fan. That's how I started getting into tennis. It actually helps me sort of cope with that loss, because I just I prefer. I know that there are still some Federer fans I see it on Twitter who are like, don't mention that match, don't mention that event. Actually, this is still one of the best memories I have, of watching him, because his level was insane throughout the week, throughout the fortnight. He hit some wild shots against Nishikori, against Pui earlier, I think, as well, that I remember, just very vividly. Beats Rafa for the last time in their last meeting. Like that was also a fantastic match to just still see that, despite some people thinking that the form of Rafa was better going into the match, that grass was still like still a thing even at that stage of his career. He could actually play just literally inside the court and have volley him to death. And against Djokovic, he also played much better. And I prefer to look at that loss from that perspective of he was like the better player, rather than he didn't get the slam
That's
because
healthy. More Federer fans should take that approach.
I think what allowed me to get there was the fact that, well, the slam race is not close, right? So, at some point I had to accept that that's how it is. Like, I think if that was the slam that decided it, for example, then maybe I would be treating it differently.
Sure.
But yeah, right now I'm just perfectly fine with that loss, and I definitely just look at him still being so close to winning and actually being the better player for almost 5 sets, which even Djokovic fans would agree with, obviously. And yeah, all in all, I guess I don't even remember. Oh yeah, and I definitely look at that loss like that. Like I I'm not gonna give Federer one more slam in my head or something like that. But I look at that loss as in, well, he kinda won Wimbledon 2019. Like he had it on his he was capable of doing this. He was so close. So I guess Peyton Stearns, similarly, she kind of beats Arina
no, I was
Sabalenka.
just going to mention that actually. I was literally
I don't
just
know if
thinking that as
Clara
you were talking,
Burel
like, I think
counts.
like she was very impressive in defeat,
Yeah, I don't
I
know
could
if
say
Clara
that.
Burel counts because like she never really
No,
got that close to the
no,
finish
no,
line, and
no, does not
yeah,
count.
I
I
agree.
don't
I
agree to
also wouldn't count it. I think sometimes even without match points, I can sort of treat it like this, but not in Burel's case. I think simply because like any big moment was more about Coco limiting her errors and not like Burel. I
Yeah.
don't know. Not like with Stearns, who actually was responding to Sabalenka and like was actually dictating for a lot of the match as well. So it's a little different. But yeah, that's just the weird part of my watching tennis, that I sometimes treat losses as wins.
No, but now that you
Average
explained it,
forehand topspin speed. Uh-huh.
I know, I was just saying it makes a lot of sense when you explain it like that. Yeah.
Average forehand topspin speed for Sinner, 12 miles per hour faster than Jan-Lennard Struff, who obviously is not a defensive player either. Kinda a ball basher sometimes, actually. Well, clearly in this matchup there is just one ball basher. And he's gonna have one more breakpoint. Again, just making it very tough for Struff on the first volley. Should Struff stay back a little bit more? I mean, maybe sometimes, but like he's still losing most of the baseline rallies, so it's just a very hard situation that he's found himself in. Great shot here, though,
He's
to
probably
save a
forced if he
breakpoint.
sets back because he's got to be like the aggressive one. Even if he's giving center targets, like you're not going to win by staying back.
85, Sean. 85 and 73 for Struff. That's in miles, of course.
85, but it does not look that fast. But that's just because we're so used to center just being in this mode right now. And that's usually
maybe.
Average is usually around 80s, low 80s. So, well, that was a good
Especially
backhand,
set one, he had a few that were just ridiculous. But yeah, great shot from Struff to extend his life in this match and save that break point. Has to hit it pretty unnaturally, crouch a little bit, but manages to do it. It barely bounces, no way for Sinner to catch it. So 6-3, 4-3, Jannik Sinner 2 holds away. And I think there's going to be new balls as well. So that could help his experience of just getting through the next couple of games, or at least the next game.
Speaking of Federer, there's so many people in the crowd with RF hats. Like, there's so many. And my feed just decided to show all of them.
I have an RF hat somewhere at home. I didn't actually buy it. I won it in a competition once, but it's not fitting too well. Like I don't like how I look in it. So it's a bit of a pain for me not to be able to use it.
Are you one of those Federer fans that just buys any single?
No, I never bought any.
No.
I never bought
You
any.
treat me as that kind.
Yeah, I never bought anything. So.
There are just some fans out there that are just like, they're so loyal that just any single thing Federer will put out there on the market, they'll be the first to buy it.
I don't know. Never was really interested in that stuff. Like I think I actually had this hat that I wasn't wearing because it didn't fit well. I had like a shirt that I think was a knockoff actually, and I did wear it.
It was like
but,
this $100 coin or something like that he had. I forgot.
Oh.
No. I've been some crazy stuff.
No idea what that is. Yeah, but I guess I was never really that invested on like that side. No, just tennis really.
Or like any book, any autobiography, any TV show.
No.
any
I have a couple.
documentary.
I have a couple, but definitely not any. I mean, after a while, you kind of just know what's gonna be in them, right? And
Yeah,
also
I don't even
just
know.
my sort of focus, of course, as a tennis fan, and you know that, and the guys in the guys watching also know that it's like very on the court related. And
Yeah.
like in the biographies, you're always gonna get a lot of personal life stuff, which does not interest me at all. So
Yes.
I haven't read The Master. I haven't read whatever else is coming out. There was this one book by like Simon and whatever, right? There were these
I
two
know.
guys as well.
I
I
think
can't
John
remember.
had them on the channel.
Yeah.
Simon Chambers and Simon Graff. Yeah.
Simon Graff and Simon Chambers. Yeah. I also have not read that. I read one or two, but I don't remember even who they were by. Honestly, they are somewhere in my family home, but at my family home. But well, whatever. Love 30 now. I started talking and I didn't even see these points.
I think Sinner
honestly.
double faulted on the first point. And it seems like I'm a point behind, so I'm watching about 15 now. Damien has turned into Nori. What is this referring to from Terry?
I don't know. Is it looks wise, maybe? With my
No.
famous mustache? I don't know. It could be.
Yeah.
I would assume so, actually. 15:30 now, so let's see if Sinner can just find a few good serves. Theoretically, new balls. First, well, not the first pressure moment for Jannik. Obviously, there was that break point in the opening set. It was kind of eliminated very quickly.
That was at 1-1, right? That was quite.
Yeah, 1-1. Now there's gonna be 2 breakpoints for the German. Sinner just like completely messing up his motion on this backhand. Yeah, like pretty much chunks it into the middle of the net. That's pretty surprising. So let's see if he can also respond to a tougher situation like this. And well, with what we've been seeing from him the past 6 months or so, the past 2 months or so, regardless of the sample you're going to use, he probably can. And in fact, he can with the first massive serve down the tee. But still, this is a nice test, I guess. If he gets through it, if he just manages to win 6-4 here, can also make him a bit stronger going forward.
Yeah.
And he will have to save this on the second serve now. So Struff is just ready.
Oh, 131 on that serve at 15:40.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I definitely thought that Struff was gonna maybe try to be a little more imposing here, because otherwise it just kind of felt like a slow death. And it took a while. It took like 10 shots from Jannik, probably. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the rally count. I think they might have reached like 16 or something like that. So it took a few shots for Jannik to eventually hit for Struff here, but he just never really seemed in danger here. Whew. Finds the next
12,
one right.
12 shots. 12 shots for Sinner. I just counted it because I'm seeing it a point later.
12 for Sinner only.
12 shot rally won by Sinner. Yeah, 30-40.
Oh, no, 12 shot rally. Okay. 12 shot rally. Okay. Oh, I thought it was a bit longer.
In the open court. So, yeah. Struff just trying his best to hang in.
Yeah. So I guess we have an answer to what happens if Sinner is under pressure.
So far, he has not had a legit chance missed, I would say, in any of the 3 breaks. Let's see. Oh, was that out? No, it caught the line. In fact, it was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
precise. That forehand inside in.
Yeah, I remember when he hit it. I was also like, "Oh, another breakpoint for Struff," but nah.
Yeah,
Actually.
I thought it looked like it was going wide all the way until it hit the court, basically.
And by the way, one more match that I will watch before going to bed today is Andrei Rublev against Iji Lehechka, and Iji Lehechka has just broken right away.
Yeah, the Hedgehog has
So
beaten him before.
Yeah. I think it's like 2-1 Rublev.
Yeah.
Did he beat him in Doha? Maybe last year.
Yeah, he beat him in Doha on the way to the final semis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another example, by the way.
That's another one that I know you want to put him in the final. Oh, okay.
That's another example of basically reaching the final. Yeah. I guess Murray has basically beaten the minor a few times.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What about Federer here in 2018? Did he basically win that tournament?
Yeah, I guess it's not impactful enough in the long run for me to really think about it too much. But yeah, I mean, he kind of did. He doesn't go for like this drop shot or whatever he did on one of these match points. He probably wins, or doesn't go at the Del Potro forehand like in most of their matchups. For some reason, the Del Potro rivalry did not really make him a tactical genius.
No.
But yeah, I guess I just never really think about that much anymore.
Yeah, in some way, like if you justify it in your mind, that might have been more painful than Wimbledon. I don't know if just because, like, if he wins that one
At the time, no.
maybe
At
the
the
rest
time,
of his
no.
year, maybe the rest of his year just looks a lot different.
No, but like,
And he
my
probably still
initial
thinks number
reaction,
one.
no. After Wimbledon, I couldn't, I like literally couldn't sleep for like a day or two. So no,
Mm,
definitely
yeah,
not.
fair.
Over time, I think 2018 Indian Wells. I mean, why would I care about that? Like, yeah. Delpo
Yeah,
got
of
his
course.
first and only ATP 1000.
Better.
That's good as well.
Yeah, there's that storyline, which would have felt really, what's the word? Yeah, strange if Delpo retired without having won one. So, and without having won a slam. I was talking this about somebody, and I said that if he had stayed healthy for those 5 years, I think Delpo could have been in that 3+ slam group. Like, I don't know if I would go past 3, but I think he could have gotten the same as Murray and Wawrinka.
Just a few days ago here on the stream, I was, I think, with Nick talking about this, and well, something similar. And I basically said that when I think about like guys like Tsonga, Berdych, Ferrer, and the fact that honestly they're not that much better than the guys we have right now. Like, really, sometimes we try to pump them up like for nostalgia reasons, but Tsonga had no backhand. Ferrer, yeah, these guys like the back, the second tier, let's say, not Alcaraz, not Sinner, not Djokovic. But yeah, basically that Tsonga had no backhand. Ferrer wasn't actually like that special of a ball striker, I guess. You also, well, Berdych was like super stiff. And when I think about that, like the only conclusion really I get from that whole thing is that Del Potro should have won more slams, because he was like literally the only one of them who was like complete. And yeah, just had it all, had actual chances to like dominate the tour. Then again, yeah, if you think about it, like just 180.
I mean, the guy literally got to 3 in the world with a slice backhand. Like,
I know, but like
He's
still,
hitting his
he didn't
backhand.
actually have a shot at a slam other than 2009 US Open. Like he was never close even, and that's kind of the counter
yeah,
argument to
I guess so. But that's just because he kept running into those.
a lot of
Four.
that is injuries, but or the big four, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think he was the most complete of that group by far. Yeah, actually, it's not even close. Songa, like I said, yeah, the backhand. Though sometimes he could hit the one-hander on the run, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And like Berdych was kind of limited in his movement, and like Ferrer, kind of. Yeah, I don't know if actually Ferrer would hold up that well in this generation. Maybe he'd just be another Rublev type.
Yeah,
Just
I think these are very similar talents, prospects, whatever. Yeah, Rublev, Ferrer. Yeah, like it's really not a guarantee that these guys would be winning slams in this era. In fact, I think they would actually have a major issue winning slams in this era, just like they did in theirs. And that's, by the way, the match. Jannik Sinner with a great point
yeah,
at the net to put it
couple very good
away.
volleys.
So
yeah.
pretty routine, honestly, despite the breakpoint saves, which kind of were similar to Struff's, I suppose. But yeah, the serve return game of his right now is just incredible.
Yeah, that was just pretty clinical, pretty routine serve return, the net game as well. And wasn't really in much jeopardy apart from a couple of service games, and Struff didn't really have much of a chance on any of those 3 points. So yeah, now he gets either Shelton or Cerundolo, both players who beat him last year. But of course, he would still be a considerable favorite against either.
Yeah, I mean, Shelton, Shanghai, we talked about this, that Sinner was after the Beijing Grand, probably a little tired, but it's still a possibility. Like, Shelton is the kind of guy you can't really exclude. You can't really write him off pretty much. Looking at the stats now, it's 27 winners to 10 unforced errors for Jannik. I mean, even from that, obviously, these sort of stats can be very misleading, but like even from that, it looks pretty insane. 33 baseline points won, 15 only for Struff, so total domination there, really. Lots of unreturned serves, in fact, a lot more than Struff as well, which again shows you how much he's improved that. Pretty brutal, yeah. 83% of points won first serve. Like it's close when you look at the break points and how they were structured, but when it comes to like the whole outlook of the match, it actually wasn't. And even the total points won, there is a big lead there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of looking ahead to the rest of the tournament now, like fourth round, quarters. Zverev de Minaur, possible fourth round. Winner to face Alcaraz Marozsan. Yeah, I mean, these fourth round quarterfinals look more interesting right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Shelton Sinner one. If we get it, it's gonna be great. Should be a good one as well if we get like a Djokovic Paul, right, and that sort of thing. From the ones set up today, yeah, we mentioned Alcaraz Marozsan. That's gonna be pretty insane. Tomorrow, of course, there's still third rounds and yeah.
The Hechka is up a break on Rublev right now.
Yeah, he started with a break. Tomorrow there's a lot of cool matches as well, right? Paul and Barry we mentioned, but especially Fields against Rude. I think the rematch there. That's quite awesome.
Hamburg, yeah, that's got to be one to watch. Of course, Medvedev Korda. And Runa Musetti as well, yeah. Plenty of good ones.
Yeah, I think the lineup tomorrow is a lot more interesting to me. which is why I was actually checking. I was checking if the schedule is already out, because I'm just interested to see if tomorrow I will have to stay up at night or not. Because today nothing really excites me to that extent to force me to ruin my schedule. However, it's possible that tomorrow there will be a match scheduled at night that will be this important to me. Yes, tomorrow it definitely is not out of the question.
Makes
But
sense. The top half has a lot of intriguing possibilities, especially that Medvedev, Runa, Dimitrov, that section.
No, Sinner against Alex Bolt again.
From
Are we really gonna talk about that much? Apparently, Mike Cation also is a believer.
Oh, and I'd like to see if that match is just actually overhyped or was that really just that good. I don't know. Actually, on the women's side, tomorrow is very good in terms of big names. Because you do have Raducanu, Sabalenka, you have Garcia, Sakari, Navarro, Svitolina, Osaka, Mertens. Yeah.
I got lost for a moment. Osaka, tomorrow the WTA. Yeah. I guess.
Bottom half.
Well, Raducanu Sabalenka is probably the highlight a bit, to see if she can actually do something there. I guess Indian Wells is not a bad opportunity for Emma, but at the same time, I don't like the matchup whatsoever.
I think that Sakari getting to the quarters pick is eating well so far. Let's see.
I forgot about that, because
Garcia
it just kind of feels like there are no favorites on the women's side, besides the top four. So otherwise it kind of can be everyone.
I just kind of
Garcia,
really
Sakari,
badly want to see a Sabalenka Swiatek final. Just give me that. Just fast forward to that. Give it to me tomorrow. Give it to me the day after. Give it to me the day after that. Anyways. Yeah.
Let them play every day. Yeah, possibly.
Just skip to the final. Just give me that right now.
Who else said that match was so good? Keen also Ben Rothenberg says that Sinner Bolt
he loves to
was
mention
the best
that.
match
That
of the
like,
2010s
that is
decade.
Like he will get that in no matter what. That's like John getting in his book. Like that's
Ricky Demon as well, I think. There basically there are a few people who were there for that Wimbledon qualies match between them, and they basically just masturbate all over it for the past 5 years. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it was good. I haven't watched it, but it seems to be a little excessive sometimes. It just seems to me like it can't be like this unequivocally, just sort of
be that good.
Yeah, it can be like a unanimous pick for the best match of the 2010s decade. Like, no way. I mean, there must
Francis
be some sort of.
It can't be that good.
I know which video. Yeah.
Anyways, on that note,
I'm just reading what Ghosty says. Iga's dismantling of colonies in Moskva is evidence that she lost slow course and she can be beaten on fast if you're aggressive and put her on her heels. Yeah, I mean, hot take. It's a bit of a old cold take, but I guess you knew that. But I guess you knew that. Probably it was a bit ironic from you. I would assume.
Be good at pickleball.
That I don't know. That actually I really don't know.
Any tennis player right now in the top 50 would be good at pickleball.
Jeannie Bouchard apparently isn't that good, although she might get better. I mean, Keen, I agree with you, but don't you think it's just a little weird that there are let's say 5 people in the tennis media who just every single one of them says that this was the best match ever.
Like how do we as a tennis community get behind something that nobody watched?
Honestly, if it was a year or two later, I would probably be very familiar with it. But 2019, I wasn't following Grand Slam qualies that closely yet. I wish something like that happens. I might, I keep talking to people about Monteiro Cecchinato Punta del Este final 2020. I keep talking to people about another match from 2020, Alcaraz Musetti Trieste semi.
Mhm.
But yeah, mostly I probably feel like
I don't know the
these
first
guys.
one, but yeah, this one and this
Yeah.
Charisma second one, yes. I remember seeing
Probably for the most part, I just feel like these guys, right? Because, well, I'm talking about a match that no one else watched, and like, yeah, what can you do? World class pickleball coach for Iga Świątek. Yeah, because Ghosty has this like another hot take that Iga Świątek will be her body and her mind, like she will be just totally out of tennis by like 26 or 27. That she's gonna be the
Really?
next Martina Hingis, basically. Yeah.
Why.
So
She's
probably
so
that's
efficient.
related to that. I think Ghosty is just looking for that second career for her.
That is an interesting take.
But anyway, I think that's where we can more or less finish on. Keen has a question of how far do you think Tomic will rise in the rankings? I mean, his recent results probably tell us that he won't. Like, I think, he has kind of plateaued recently, and even making like the next step to taking the next step to like the Grand Slam qualifying range, it's already big. Like, realistically, if you think about his challenger results, since even let's start that from last year, that Monterrey run, which was so promising when he beat Gomez in February. So like from that point onwards, he has almost no impressive challenger results. And I guess that kind of tells you where he is. I think that he definitely had a great ITF rise. Anytime he drops down, he is dangerous, but I don't think he's gonna be rising from here. No.
Didn't he make like a slam main draw like 2022 or something? I seem to remember maybe he got to like first round, second round. Who was that?
2022. I mean, he played Australian Open qualies. That was that COVID drama against Safiullin, but I mean, slam main draw, that would be 2021 maybe. But
Chapeau maybe, or
that's 2021. No, that's 2021. That's like ages ago already. Yeah.
he
Because
made Australian main draw.
2021. Yeah.
Oh, so he must have played Chapeau in the second round.
In the main draw. Yeah, I guess.
So he actually won a round in the Australian Open.
Wow. He won via retirement over Sugita. But yeah, I didn't remember that. I remember that JP Smith match.
Yeah, so like it couldn't have been the first round because he played Sinner after Sinner won that title.
Yeah, but like yeah, basically that's my answer to how far do I think Tomic will rise. I don't think he will. Sorry, Bernie. I would love to see it, but I think he has been kind of exposed for the past 12 months or so at the challenger level. I mean, he's made like 2 or 3 quarterfinals, but yeah, it doesn't really make you think he's going to be rising, especially the Indian swing was just horrific for him. I mean, he won some qualifying matches, but I don't think he won a main draw one at either of the 4 events. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna close shop here. Just Jannik Sinner moving through, gonna play Ben Shelton on France Cerundolo. That we will know at night, and we will maybe have something else coming up for you, basing on the group chat at least. Oh, okay, it's a maybe. It's a maybe. Apparently, it's a maybe. So perhaps there's going to be a stream. If not, see you tomorrow. And yeah, thank you, Vansh. Thank you all the guys in the chat. Thank you, Jannik Sinner, for keeping this one pretty short, but also pretty impressive.
Yeah, and with that, we'll see you guys soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.